Today we're going to show you how to install the Y62 electric tailgate lift. Before you start the job, you should open the doors on the car and then disconnect the battery. First thing you need to do is remove the quarter panel trims. You can check out the video on our channel for the step-by-step instructions. We've already got it out today, so now it's time to do the tailgate lift. Now the first thing you're going to do is install the electric motor into the D-pillar trim. You need to grab these two brackets and bolt them here and here. I would recommend bolting them to the motor before install. There's two length bolts in the kit. The shorter ones bolt the brackets to the D-pillar. The longer ones bolt the brackets to the electric motor. Once you've installed the brackets onto the electric motor, you need to put it up into these positions. You'll see there's a slot on each side and handy hooks on the brackets to hold it without having to bolt it on just yet. Once you've got the electric motor fitted to the D-pillar, it's time to start the wiring. Now you may need to remove this loom clip so you can get the plug into the electric motor. Grab the earth wire and run it along the factory loom down to the factory earth point. Once you've got the loom plugged into the electric motor, it's time to run the rest of the loom along the factory loom. When running these looms, you want to be careful of any sharp edges that may rub on the loom over time. Once you've run the loom along the B pillar, you need to connect the green wire supplied with the green wire in the pillar, which is the central locking wire. Once you've got the loom run, you then need to run it over the dashboard. I recommend removing this kick plate, and then as a little bit of a hack, we get a piece of plastic or something flexible that can be fed from one side of the dash to the other instead of removing all the plastic trims underneath. Now the wiring has been run, it's time to take this panel off to get to the loom. Now, depending on the series of your Y62, depends on what color wires get connected. If you have a series 1 to 3, you need to find the pink and blue wires in your harness, or if you have a series 4 to 5, like this vehicle, you need to find the twisted blue and red wires. Once they're located, you need to then join the blue and red wires in the kit to them. Once you've connected the colored wires together, you then need to grab the fuse tap. You then need to locate the fuse for the stereo amplifier, the 15 amp under this large white plastic plug. Now we've got the wiring completed, it's recommended to either leave it unplugged or a fuse out of it. Now we need to do the switches. We need to remove this plastic trim. With a flat blade, you're able to get behind the switch blanks and just pop them out. And then you can fit your tailgate switch. Don't forget to plug the wiring in. The small red wire that's attached to the plug for the tailgate lift is actually for the illumination of the switch. On this blue plug, there is a blue wire with grey trace that you can either connect it to, otherwise you can wait for the battery to be reconnected and choose your own power source. Now we've run all the wiring up the front, it's time to run the tailgate wiring and switch. Firstly, we need to remove all the plastic trims off the tailgate. Now we've removed the trims, we need to get the wiring loom up the D-pillar, along the roof line, through the factory wiring, along the tailgate, and around down to the lock area. Once you've got your loom run along the factory loom, you need to unplug the main harness for the tailgate and plug in the patch loom. Once you've finished fitting the patch loom, make sure you attach the signal wires for the tailgate. Now we've finished plugging the loom in, we've got to pin the plug for the tailgate switch. Here is the order the colours need to be in the plug and the orientation the plug needs to be. Okay, now it's time to fit the switch for the open and closing. We've supplied these templates so you know where to fit the switch. Usually I just mark it out with a texter and then use a drill to drill the plastic out. Now with a sharp knife you should be able to cut the rest of the plastic away. Once you've cut your hole, time to fit your switch. Now the switch is done for the tailgate, it's time to cut the relief for the tailgate rod and the left-hand upper trim. To make this one a little easier, we recommend using a 25mm hole saw. There's also pinch mold supplied in the kit to clean up the edge. Once you've finished cutting the plastics, you then need to add the ball pin to the tailgate. There's already a threaded hole, just make sure you add the washer underneath it. Once that's fitted, you can pull the motor arm forward and connect the rod. Now we would recommend checking that everything works before you put all the plastics in. Remember to plug it back in at the fuse block and reconnect your battery.